The watch market is dead. Thanks for watching Roland Digs It. I'm Roland, and the watch market is collapsing. The industry is gone. These are some of the videos that I keep seeing on my feed constantly. I see it in the Reddit threads where people are crying doom, and meanwhile Rolex is out here acting like as if they're allergic to making submariners or something. I see a lot of these videos. Every year it's the same thing right around this time, November, December, and then January, February, Americans start getting their tax dollars. They start going out there spending money, making it rain, buying Teslas, and velvet ropes are partying, and red carpets are rolling out.
Champagne would fall from the heavens, doors would open, velvet ropes would part.
And it's, you know, it's a hunky-dory day. Yay, everybody's happy. But November, December, doom and gloom. It happens in the auto industry, it happens in tech industry, it happens everywhere, and it happens in the watch industry. I wouldn't say that the watch industry is necessarily dying, right? We're going to talk about this. We're going to determine whether or not the watch industry is dying or whether it's just going through a midlife crisis and buying a Porsche 911 like a 50-year-old guy tends to do. That being said, I do try to do a lot of homework, research these things, learn about this stuff. I do that normally whenever I do a watch review on an individual watch. I try to give you history and provenance of the watch. With the watch market industry, I follow all these things and I keep track of this stuff on a regular basis. I just don't normally talk about it because I usually talk about just one watch. So if you appreciate the homework and work that I do, please like and subscribe. You like and subscribe, you do it now. I'm talking to you out there watching. Like and subscribe. Thank you very much. Now, let's go on to that claim that the watch market is dead. The argument usually goes Swiss exports are down, some brands are starting to lag, China's demand isn't what it used to be, and then pre-owned watch market is kind of cooling off. Here's the part that people tend to leave out. That doesn't mean that it's a death, it just means that it's a correction. Think of it as the watch world's way of a detox. After 10 years of flipping, of the hype, of FOMO, of the Insta guys buying and selling watches on the streets of New York, the watch industry is finally like, hey bro, maybe we don't need 5 GMT Masters sitting in a safe. The watch market isn't dying, it's evolving. One of the biggest changes right now is that buyers have stopped, or consumers have stopped buying watches based straight off of a name, right? Like 15 years ago, you went to go buy some sunglasses, you got Oakley or you got Ray-Ban because of the names. You didn't really think about what those two companies really brought in the form of technology. You just knew Oakley and Ray-Ban were great glasses, and therefore that's what I'm buying. It's kind of the same thing. 10 years ago or so, if you wanted to go buy a nice watch, you were getting a Rolex, Omega, Breitling, Tag. Today, people are out buying watches for all kinds of reasons, from like microbrands and independents, brands that didn't even exist in 2010. Your Baltic, your Zelos, your Christopher Ward, the one I got recently, my Dufrane. These are all brands that are more newer to the market, and they're micro brands, and they're really good brands. You're getting really amazing value for the price that you pay. You're getting more interesting designs and styles. You're getting hand craftsmanship, unique craftsmanship. You're getting small batches because Dufrane, for instance, produces like 1,100 watches throughout the entire catalog a year, not just per one line of watches like the Maybury. All of their watches, that's it. So you may be wearing one of 200 of that line if you're buying a Dufrane. And the same goes for so many of these other small watch brands. And then a lot of these smaller watch brands, the watch brands have a story that the buyer, me, can connect with. And that's a huge part of it. People love the fact that I can get this amazing story and provenance on my wrist from this micro brand that didn't cost me $4,200. All in all, brands in the middle tier, and this is where it starts to get kind of weird. Brands in the middle tier, right? They're ones that are going to be feeling this squeeze, if you will. Longines, Oris, Rado, Tag, you know, like the three-handers, Baume & Mercier, and then like your Bell & Ross, not the square one. The square Bell & Ross is still pretty badass and cool, but the round-faced ones, those guys are all the ones that are getting caught in the crossfire. They're all too expensive to compete with the story and the craftsmanship of the micro brands, but they're also too small to compete with the higher end brands like your Rolex, your Omega, and your Cartier and your Grand Seikos. It's like being stuck between a $900 Baltic and a $9,000 Rolex. Nobody's choosing you unless you're offering something extremely special, which you probably aren't.
You see this watch? That watch costs more than your car.
And speaking of nothing special, hate to say this, but I think Baume & Mercier needs to start putting QR codes on the back of their watches. That way people can scan them and remember who the hell makes them. Now let's move to the pre-owned watches. It's almost like something nobody predicted, and I can kind of make this make sense. All of these Rolexes and these Omegas, like this one right here, all of these Rolexes and Omegas and all that stuff, people started buying them 7, 8, 9 years ago and keeping them hermetically sealed with their stickers and their wrappers and their paperwork and everything in their boxes and their bags and all that stuff. They kept them in vaults because they said, in 10 years, this is going to be a good investment. I'm going to make $25,000 off of this $5,000 watch. It's kind of like this. See this? I bought this, like, whenever this damn movie came out, 20 years ago, so I don't even know. I bought this because I was like, you know what, if I keep this in its package, safe and sound, this $5 purchase will be worth hundreds later. It's worth less than I paid for it back then. It's insane. So you have this massive stockpile of these secondhand, practically new Rolexes and Omegas still in their boxes in safes, entering the market. And they're now entering the market, a massive flood of these unworn, like new watches, and people are starting to see them coming out, and they're like, there's so much of a selection, I don't know what to do. Why would I go buy a brand new Rolex from a gray market, or when I can go buy a used Submariner at a discounted price, and it still feels brand new? It still has the tape on it and stuff. It still has the hang tag. It still looks almost new. That's a huge benefit to what's happening right now when it comes to the consumer. To the watch industry, it looks like as if, oh my God, we're getting flooded with secondhand watches and there's just this lack of demand. No, it's not that. It's just that consumers, a lot of people, the flippers, were doing this, creating this massive inventory, and us, the consumers, are now reaping the benefits, being able to buy these watches at discounted prices. And now you have so many people out there, maybe not so much in the Rolex world, but in the Omega world, so many of these guys that are rushing to get to the bottom when it comes to the prices to sell these things. And you can get an Omega Dark Side of the Moon, for instance, half the price, with the box, with the papers, with the tags, with the full warranty and everything on it. Like, you know, because the fact that it just needs to go. It needs to go because it's secondhand. I've got other stuff in the store. Do you want to buy this? Half off, basically. That's amazing. And this didn't exist 10 years ago. 10 years ago, in 2010, for instance, or 15 years ago, you bought a Rolex Submariner. It was going to have scratches. It's going to have desk diving marks. It was going to probably have a bracelet that sounded like a baby rattle. And today, these used secondhand Rolexes are basically like a shadow new market. Remember that, shadow new market. It's a cool sound, right? And then people say the luxury market is dying. That's what it is. The luxury market is dying. No. High-end watches, Rolex, AP, Patek, however you want to say it, Cartier, they're doing just fine. They're not collapsing. They're consolidating their dominance. It's that simple. Swatch Group may be hurting, but Rolex is out here playing 4D chess, sipping their tea, and refusing to make enough GMTs for the human population. So to put this all together, the watch market isn't dying. It's rebalancing. It's that simple. The hype is over. The flippers are gone. The real enthusiasts, though, they remain. Microbrands are thriving. People want story. People want they want the tea. They want the goods. They want to know, what did you do before this? Oh, you used to work on planes. Oh, you used to be an engineer. Now you make watches. That's a story. I want to buy your watch. That's awesome. It's value for your money in the sense of a story. And you're still getting a decent quality movement inside of that watch, and it looks unique? Yes, please. The middle tier, getting squeezed. If you're selling watches between $3,000 and $5,000, you better bring something special to the table. Not a 2023 model, but with a blue dial. It's not going to work anymore. you need to start coming with it. The pre-owned market is a monster. Flawless used watches are now out there and they're everywhere and people are loving it. I know I do. And luxury, it's still strong. People have not stopped buying luxury watches. They're just buying them for themselves and they're no longer pretending that it's an investment piece. They're buying it for themselves. I've got a promotion at a job. I might go buy a brand new Omega. I'm getting married. I might get myself a Cartier and my wife a Cartier. I just had a child. Time to go buy that Rolex. They're saving it and they're not only saving it, they're savoring it. So is the watch market dead? No, it's just getting real. People are now buying more what they want, what they value, the stuff that they think is beautiful and gorgeous and stuff that they feel like as if this speaks to me, right? Rather than buying it based off of the name and holding it for an investment. The watches are getting worn. Microbrands are finally getting a little bit of recognition and the love that they deserve. The used market is becoming a big, huge monster and giving us all those wonderful watches that people have been holding on to for years. They're starting to see those and be able to pick and choose the ones that we want that really speak to us and get them at a good price. Honestly, I think the watch market hobby is healthier than it was just a few years ago. So that's something I dig, right? Roland digs that. And before you ask, yes, this is the watch that I'm wearing while I'm talking about the death of the watch market. And no, I'm not selling it. And unless Omega all of a sudden decides like, hey, we want to buy that back, which, you know, they're not, they're fine. But I appreciate you guys watching. If you like the video, you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe and I'll catch you guys next time, okay? Bye.